We've got another print class today, and it is so exciting. It's called monoprint, and mono means one. So we know that you can get one print from each plate that you do. Now that doesn't mean that you can't re-ink and get another print, but they will not be identical. Most time when artists make prints, it's so that they can have the replication of the same piece of artwork over and over again, and they sign them and they sell them and they number them. But today we're going to make monoprints. It's made only once, but it's more free form. And you can try different techniques with this. There's not just one way to do it. We're going to be using Tempera paint today, but if you have printing ink or acrylic paint, it will work just as well. Now, after you re-ink it, you're going to get a completely different print, but you're going to have the same subject. So it's going to be interesting. Let's go find out how to do it. It's time to do our organic natural monoprint. Before we begin, we're going to make ourselves a tool. This is so that you can put pressure on your printmaking without actually smashing the organic materials that we're going to use. It's called a baren, and it's simply made. This is a piece of flannel and some cotton balls. Any soft material will work. I just happen to have this, and I'm fond of it. Now we're going to take this, and we're going to make it tight. You do want it tight so it's firm on the bottom. There we go. And I'm going to try this little one out. I've always used a big one, but today Miss Linda is going to experiment with you. There we go. Our tool is made. I'm going to put it off to the side. Now, I promised you organic, and these are what we're going to use. I'm going to show you, let me cut this off. Underneath, you can see the veining in this leaf. That's what you want to look for. You want that raised texture. So what I'll do is, let's move these away. Get rid of that schmutzy stuff. And I'm going to look underneath. I don't care what the top looks like. I'm going to look for size and the amount of veining. This one is okay. There was some really nice little ones. The bigger ones work easier, but the print we're going to make will look nicer. I'm tempted to try to use this. Let's do it. Miss Linda never used it. That's actually for the flower bud of the hibiscus. These are hibiscus leaves. I like this one. Also the points. You want the points on there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I need a couple larger ones. 1, 2, and oh, look, there's another one. Let's do it. That I didn't notice when I went out and picked them. All right, let's see. I think that'll do it. Let me get a couple of little ones just in case. Whoop, that one's not so good. This probably will take you more time than anything. Our tools to apply these are glue sticks. So what I'll do is I will size these. I will flip them so I can see the underneath. And this is something you need to remember as well, is when you're gluing these down, you're going to be gluing the smooth side down. All right, they're all ready. Yeah, these are really little. So what we're going to do is we're going to be creating a beautiful piece of artwork. I'm going to show you this was my first monoprint, and I thought this is really nice. And I thought, what about different type of paper, adding a little black to it? And I came up with this. I like this much better. And generally, you're like, okay, that's fine. But check out what happens when you take a simple mat and put this over the top. It turns it into this beautiful piece of artwork. And we are going to create that right now. I'll stack these out of the way. Now, again, you will get paint on your hands. So what we're going to do is get our plate. This is what we're using for our print plate today. A piece of corrugated cardboard and some foil. Believe it or not, there is a type of printmaking called foilography. Sometimes people dampen the paper before they put it on. We're going to do our first one without that. Now, these, which side? Yes, I'm supposed to put it on this side. Let's open this up. Oh, it's a brand new one. I have these papers here. When you're using a glue stick and you don't put it on that side, it's best to put a piece of paper underneath it and put this on nice and thick. See that? You can actually see it on there. I'm going to move this off to the side. And now you're going to arrange them into a natural positioning. You can put them all over the place, but if they look like they're cascading off the actual tree or bush, then you're going to create something much more realistic, or I would say natural. Notice I don't have many of the little stems. Oh, I just did what I told you not to do. There we go. One down. I won't do it again. Usually when I do something incorrectly, it's not wrong. I just didn't listen to myself. Smooth side gets the glue. Let's see. And you can overlap them. Now see how this sticks up? I'm actually just going to snip that off. We're not going to have any of the branches showing. Smooth side, Miss Linda, smooth side. And you'll use quite a bit of glue. You'll be turning this up. The tighter you have it on the plate, the better your print. All right. Let's do this. I want to throw a smaller one in there. Notice I'm patting them down. Let's see. Oh, I don't want to forget this. I'm going to put that out there so I don't forget. I'm going to have to smash it, though. We'll see. Experimenting. Smooth side with the glue. Let's get a little guy in here. Tuck him under. All right. I am going to glue, glue, glue. Remember, you need that negative space as well. So let's tip this one here and tuck it. All right, here we go. I am actually going to cut this in the center and smash it with my fingers. And I am getting all kind of goopy goop on my fingers, which means you just use your wet towel. Let's stick this down here. Experimenting. We'll do this here. All right. Couple more and we're almost ready. Once you have these on, it gets super simple. All right. Maybe up here and one more. Okay. One little guy in here to fill it in. Do we have a balance? I think we do. Let's turn it around and look. Maybe a little guy right there. Because that one's just sitting out there in the middle of nowhere. Okay. There we go. Now, overlapped. This is the fun part. I'm using the black and green again because I really was fond of it. We get all of our little stuck to it because Miss Linda did the wrong side. You're going to mop this up. You're going to get a good amount of paint because this is tempera. It's going to try to move away. That's a lot of black. Not to worry. We can spread it around. And notice I'm going off the edges. That is just fine because that creates a really interesting, not quite a background. Yeah, I went strong with the black. But watch what I can do. I can pick that black up, move it around. All I've done is created a very deep and put this on top. And that's going to be a little string because I schlupped it a little bit. I always forget black is so strong of a pigment. Almost there. Now, I said you can only do one print. You can do more than one when you re-ink it or repaint it in this case. It's not going to look anything like the first one. That's why they call it the monoprint. But it will still give you beautiful prints every time you re-ink it. In fact, we're going to re-ink this. I just thought of something. See these little sloppy marks that I'm making with the paint? I wonder if I can get... There we go. Let's try to get some branches in there anyway. Miss Linda is learning with you. Now see how it starts to pull away? You just need to go over it again. Tempera dries rather quickly as well. Let's see. I don't want to touch it too much. We'll just bring these off. And there's some little dots of paint here, but guess what? That will actually add to it as well. Maybe a little more paint over here. I think we are almost ready to make our monoprint. Double checking, giving this a really good dose of paint. I am ready. Put this off to the side so I don't mess anything up. Now this is when you get your paper, check your fingers beforehand so they don't have any of the paint on it. You're going to take your paper and you're going to lay it over, and then we're going to get our tool, put your hand down on it. You will be able to start to see the actual veining of these leaves through your paper. And that helps a lot to make sure that you get every little inch. Keep your hand on the paper. It will slide off because these are a little three-dimensional under here. But see how you can see the veining? That's when you know you've got it. And after we're done with this, I'm going to try to re-ink it and do something new. I always like to try new things. Oh, here's that little bud. Let's give that one a good... The more veining that you see, the more you're ready to pull, because that's when you know that you have that design, that natural design. I can tell on this one already I didn't get paint on the tip. Oh well, it's a print. It's supposed to be lovely. All right, is everyone ready? The reveal. Pull it off. That's a lot of paint, but when it dries, you're going to see all of this beautiful veining that's popped up will dry. So I'm going to try to do what they said I can't do. I'm going to try to do a print with what's on there because I obviously over painted it. You can do this over and over again too, because once the leaves are glued down until they start to shrivel up. Let's see what this one holds. I'm pressing harder because I know there's not as much paint on it. I love the, you can't see it, but I love the raised paint on this. That's why you use this. Can you imagine using your fingers and trying to push this down in every little spot? All right, let's see what I have here. 10 to 1, I'm gonna like this much better. Again, before I lift it, you can see all of that raised paint. And when it dries, it will stay raised and give you that texture of the leaf. And it, put a frame around it, and it's beautiful. Ready? Oh yeah, here we go. That's gorgeous. I'm just gonna do this really quick, just to show you. All you need is a frame around it to make it into a piece of artwork. Let's do my experiment now. This one, over inked, over painted, a little too much paint. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect, because once it dries, it's going to have its own character. This one is beautiful. This one almost looks like an X-ray of it. It's just lovely. So let's put these off to the side so they can dry. And I'm going to be careful with my inking. I was wondering what would happen if you put I did a rubbing of a pattern to see what will happen. What will it look like if there's, say, a sky looking behind it? You ready to join me on this one? Everybody chant, don't over ink, Miss Linda, don't over ink. Here we go. A little bit around there. I'm gonna go easy on the black. I think I'll do the black after I do the green, and that way I can actually just kind of highlight areas. Now, because we've done this before and there's paint on it, I will not need as much paint because the paint is already starting to dry a little bit. There we go. And I was surprised this little bud came out really nice. So I guess we're doing 2 experiments today. A little bit here, some on my little bud. Now this one I'm going to go a little bit on the outside. So let's do a full-on experiment. I'm just actually rimming those to see if it creates something. All right, now I'm going to go back with just a touch of black. All right, let's do this. This way I'm in control of where the black goes instead of it just being so strong. I want those veining of that leaf to show through. Give this a little bit. All right, drum roll, everyone. Miss Linda's favorite way of doing it. We're going to put this on. Yeah. Put it down. I'm going to get my baren out, keeping my hand in the center. This is just trying to teach you, if you do it one way and you like it, experiment, try something new, try something different. This is also thinner paper, so it's going to need less pressure. I experiment all the time when I'm trying to find the best way to give you the experience of these lessons. I try it over and over again until I am sure. You can really see the veining through this. Now you know if you've rubbed enough. So maybe a thinner paper would work. Ooh, I bet you tracing paper would be awesome. All right, let's see what happens when we put a background on it. Nice. Let's put that frame around it to see. What you do when you put a frame around it is you remove too much of that, all of that negative space. Now see, that looks nice. I would probably position it this way. So there's no end to what you can do. You have some leaves. Make sure they have really good veining underneath them. You have your printing plate, which is foil, or we could call it foilography. And then you have these beautiful prints. This one is nice. This one is probably my favorite, little splatter over here. And let's see how this one is drying. I'm gonna set this over here. Again, it's looking beautiful with the paint. It's probably a little hard to see on camera, but all of this is gonna dry raised and it's gonna be beautiful. So every time you do this, you will get a different print. It's why it's called a monoprint. Have fun with it. Well, our print module is finished. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I learned new things with you, and I know you learned some new things with me. We love doing prints, and this is not the end of maybe combining some prints with something else. So you'll be using this in the future. And remember, I'll give you the knowledge of the materials, and it's up to you to take them and make them your own. And when you show them to me and I get your artwork, I am so excited. So thank you for that, and I'll see you next class.